Shohei Otani and the Angels are falling apart day by day, and Anthony Rendon is throwing out some of the most embarrassing and pathetic comments I've ever seen from a guy almost making $300 million. The Twins and the Guardians featured a football score, and a backup catcher threw 4 innings, as well as my friend hit a home run nearly 470 feet. Trea Turner, he is the hottest hitter in baseball right now. That standing ovation really did wonders for the guy, and the AL West, it's about to get even messier now that the Rangers and the Astros are facing off in a 3-game series. All of that in today's MLB Recap, a series in which we recap every single game almost every single day. And a reminder, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off. Look at these comments from Anthony Rendon. So a reporter went to Anthony Rendon and he asked for an update on Rendon's health, and Rendon hit him with the no habla inglés, saying, "I don't speak Spanish," and then he put on a hoodie and walked away. These are some other quotes from Anthony Rendon. This guy has all but quit on the Angels and their fan base. He's making almost 250 or something like that, 250 to $300 million. This is turning into one of the worst contracts in baseball history. Anthony Rendon, he should not be proud of the fact that he is mocking the process and mocking the fan base at the same time. I mean, to me, this is pathetic. So let me know, what are your thoughts on Anthony Rendon? And then it kind of got worse for Angels fans because Otani, it has been confirmed that he needs surgery on that UCL, and now there might be an injury to his oblique. He had batting practice yesterday. He had to come out of it, and then he went straight to the dugout. He went straight to the clubhouse. I don't know the exact detail of that injury, but it did not look good. And let's talk about their game yesterday. The Angels were taking on the Orioles, and Austin Hayes ripped an RBI double right before Ryan Mountcastle and Aaron Hicks knocked in a few more on some RBI singles. Grayson Rodriguez went out there and shoved for a quality start. This kid tossed 6 innings with 7 punch-outs. He's been way better lately. He has a 2.8 ERA since July 17th. That was when he was recalled after being sent down because he was so bad. But his biggest fix, he's not allowing home runs anymore. Knock on wood. He allowed 13 home runs in his first 45 innings. He's only allowed 3 home runs over his last 54 innings. Now, staying with home runs, Gunnar Henderson, he has some of the quickest hands I've ever seen. That 96 fastball inside, he turned on it with ease. And then Baltimore's new closing pitcher, Yennier Cano, he got some help from rookie Jordan Westbrook. That was a sick web gem. The Orioles beat the Angels 6-3, and the Angels, I mean, they're a complete and unmitigated disaster. You guys might be asking, Fuzzy, why are you showing us Royals highlights this early in the recap? You always save them towards the end. I gotta talk about this Cole Ragans guy. He got a ton of run support on home runs from Olivares and Nelson Velasquez. Olivares had 2 in this one, so he was seeing beach balls. What's the opposite of that, by the way? Like for pitchers, if a pitcher is locked in, do we say he's carving, he's dotting, he's painting? What is the beach ball equivalent for pitchers? Because whatever it is, Cole Ragans is exactly that. He was acquired in the Aroldis Chapman trade. He's a 25-year-old 6'4" lefty that throws 98 to 99. He went out there and hit the Royals over 6 shutout frames. He also racked up 7 strikeouts. Over his last 3 starts, he's thrown 19 innings, 6 hits total over 19 innings, 0 earned runs, and 27 strikeouts. Those are numbers that really only prime Blake Snell has put up from a lefty that could throw that hard. He could be a huge piece of the Kansas City rebuild. And I'm going to go ahead and put the rebuild in air quotes because it seems like they've been rebuilding for a decade now. But Cole Ragans, he's going to be part of it. All right, back to some teams that are in the thick of things when it comes to a playoff race. Both the Cubs and the Giants are fighting tooth and nail for a wild card spot. And Justin Steele, he showed the heck up. Same with Seiya Suzuki. He belted a long home run, 432 feet for his 15th home run. That was all that Justin Steele needed. Justin carved his way through 6 shutout with a bunch of strikeouts, but he wasn't done just yet. Seiya, he brought home belly on another RBI extra base hit, and then Yan Gomes, he made it a 3 spot for Justin Steele, who went out there and completed an absolute masterpiece. 8 shutout frames, only 2 base hits allowed, 12 strikeouts. He now has a 2.55 ERA, and the race for the NL Cy Young just got way more interesting because Blake Snell, he has a 2.5 ERA and he leads the NL in hits per 9, while Steele has a 2.55 ERA and beats Snell in FIP. Who's going to win that? Let me know in the comments down below, as the Cubs, they beat the Giants 5-0. Now, staying with who's going to win it, I want you guys to let me know who's going to win the NL Central, the Cubs or the Brewers, because with that W over San Francisco, the Cubs can get within 2.5 games of Milwaukee for first place. Jack Sawinski, he's got to be the most hated man in Milwaukee right now. His 2-run blast off of Corbin Burns tied it at 2. And to use a phrase that we brought up earlier, Ke'Bryan Hayes, he is seeing beach balls lately. He's hitting almost 320 with 10 home runs and a near 900 OPS since the beginning of June. McCutchen, he was back in the lineup. He laced an RBI double to make it a 4-2 ball game. And Luis Ortiz, he tossed a shutout 6th inning to end his night. That's back-to-back quality starts for Luis Ortiz. David Bednar, this guy is nearly unhittable. He He has 32 saves and a 2.2 ERA since the beginning of 2021. He is disgusting. So if we take a look at the standings in the NL Central, the Cubs, they are gaining ground as the days pass, and they're gaining ground fast. Who's going to win that division? Let me know. Earlier, we showed the Giants losing, so that loss is huge for the Reds because the Reds, they're trying to catch up to the Giants in the NL wildcard standings. So this game actually features two teams that are fighting for a wildcard and a playoff spot or even a division crown. I don't know if the Reds are going to catch up to the Brewers, but the Mariners, they're definitely fighting for first place in the AL West. We saw RBI singles from Ellie De La Cruz and newcomer Hunter Renfroe that made it 2-0, and this guy can swing it. I mean, with a name like Spencer Steer, you're definitely born to hit baseballs very far. He's a rookie, and by the way, they got Spencer Steer and Christian Encarnacion Strand in that Tyler Mahle trade that kind of robbed Minnesota. Steer has 20 home runs, 12 stolen bases, and a near 120 OPS plus. He also walks a good amount. He has a near 360 on base percentage. J-Rod, he made some history despite his team kind of getting beat up. He's the first player ever with 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases in his first 2 seasons as a Major League Baseball player. He's on pace for a 34 season at 22 years old, and he leads the AL in hits. Anyway, Cincinnati catcher Tyler Stevenson, he ripped 2 doubles. That one brought home Hunter Renfroe. The Reds beat the Mariners 6-3. So Cincinnati, they're now in. San Francisco, they drop out. I mean, the NL wildcard is absolute madness. Seattle losing is huge for the Astros, who were taking on the Rangers, but we'll show that after these next 2 games because 2 other NL teams that are still trying to prove that they can be a playoff team, but in the wildcard, the Padres and the Diamondbacks. The Padres, they had a tall task of facing a red-hot Phillies team in Philly, and this game was super entertaining. Alec Boehm, he's proving that he's actually not that bad. He just needed a few years to kind of marinate and get used to MLB pitching. That 3-run double was a good start for the Phillies, and they kept pouring it on. But I guess before we show that, Tatis, he hit a prodigious moonshot, 432 feet. Tatis is on pace for a near 30-30-30 season. That is 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and 30 DRS. Yes, that is 30 defensive run saves in a brand new position. He can still play with the best of them. Edmundo Sosa, he's always raked against lefties, so that's no surprise. And look at Trea go, man. He has 7 home runs over his last 7 games. He has 22 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and he has not been caught stealing one time, knock on wood. You know who doesn't have 25 stolen bases? Kyle Schwarber, obviously, but he does have 40 home runs in back-to-back seasons. The dude has a 121 OPS plus, so technically he's been 21% better than average, even though he's only hitting 193. The Padres, they tried to fight back as Ha-Seong Kim, he had a big 3 RBI night, and Gary Sanchez, an RBI double, made it a 2-run game, but Alvarado, he closed it out. I think that Craig Kimbrell is going to be used as a setup guy. That might be the best for him going forward. The Padres, they fall to 6.5 games back of a wildcard spot in the NL. So as you guys saw earlier, the Diamondbacks, they're still fighting for that final wildcard spot, and they're now tied with the Reds again. Corbin Burns, he legged out his NL best, I think MLB best, 9th triple. He's either number 1 or tied with Shohei Ohtani right now with 9. Gabriel Moreno and Jace Peterson, they pushed it to a 4-run lead for Merrill Kelly, and that was plenty for him because Merrill Kelly, he needed to step up, and he did more than that. He was painting like Picasso all night long. He went 7 innings, only allowed 5 base runners the entire night. He struck out a career-high 12 hitters, so over his last 3 starts, 7 innings, no earned runs, 12 strikeouts. Then the game before this one, 5 innings, 7 earned runs, and 1 strikeout. And then this one, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts. So definitely more good than bad this year. Paul Sewald, he shut it down for his 30th save. And like we mentioned, the Diamondbacks and the Reds are tied in the wildcard race. All right, here we go. The winner of this game will be tied with the Mariners for first place in the AL West. Seager, he smoked a prodigious, and I mean a prodigious home run, 455 feet for a 2-run shot. His first of 2 home runs in this game. Garver, he made it a 3-run game, and in the blink of an eye, Houston tied it right back up in the 5th inning. Jeremy Pena, he got it going. That's an RBI single. And then there's Bregman with the game-tying 2-run single. And it ain't tied no more because Seager, he's hitting 345 with 28 home runs and 84 RBIs. Those stats are insane considering he's missed 43 games, but Corey Seager giveth and Corey Seager taketh away. 1 second, we'll show that in a second because 3 more home runs happened. Dubon and Altuve, they went back-to-back twice in this game. Stay tuned. Garver, he then tied it all over again, but after the Rangers' trash can of a bullpen allowed a game-tying base on a walk, Corey Seager, like we said, he took it away. He botched it. That error allowed 2 more to score, and then Yainer Diaz, he matched Corey Seager with a 445-foot moonshot. Only his was a 3-run home run. The rookie catcher is hitting 285 with 21 home runs and a near 130 OPS plus. There's Mauricio Dubon and Jose Altuve going back-to-back for the 2nd time in one game. Altuve Altuve, he's been nuts this year. He's basically hitting 320 with 12 home runs, 13 stolen bases, and a 155 OPS plus in just 67 games. To me, he's 100% going to make the Hall of Fame. Sue me. Both the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are currently on win streaks, so let's see if either of those teams get stopped. We'll talk about Boston versus Tampa Bay after this one. The Blue Jays went up 3 after a few RBI base hits from George Springer and Kevin Biggio, but to be honest, this is more exciting. Lawrence Butler, he does not hit cheap home runs. His first of 2 home runs. Stay tuned for the second one, and neither does Ryan Noda. These two guys rake. Now, those were the only runs allowed by Jose Barrios, who was actually pretty solid. He struck out 7 over 6 innings. He has a 3.68 ERA, which is not the best, but it's way better than what we've seen from him the last few seasons. Now, the Blue Jays bullpen did blow it. They allowed a solo home run to Jordan Diaz, so this game is going to need extras, and Toronto, they took advantage and poured it on. They grabbed 3 runs on RBI knocks from Santiago Espinal, Kevin Biggio, and rookie Spencer Horwitz. Toronto has been saved lately by rookie hitters. Both Spencer Horwitz and Davis Schneider have been godsends. One more rookie, but an Oakland rookie. Lawrence Butler almost got the A's back into it on one swing. That's a 2-run shot off of the nasty Jordan Romano. That's his second of the game. Butler still has plenty of work to do in terms of plate discipline, but the power is legit. Regardless, the Jays, they do beat the A's slightly 6-5. So the Blue Jays are now winners of 2 in a row. Boston, they are going for their 3rd win in a row. Brandon Lau and Harold Ramirez, they had a W dangling right in front of them, but Boston, they snatched it right back. Duvall, he knocked in a huge RBI in the 4th, and it's huge because it set up this moment right here. Tristan Casas, he is better than I ever thought he could be. After that 3-run home run, since May 7th, over 300 at-bats later, Casas is hitting 301 with 20 home runs and a near 960 OPS. I mean, he's not allowed to hit against lefties very often, but even when he does, he has a 360 on base percentage against lefties, so he's going to take his walks no matter what. He singled in another RBI in the 8th inning, and Masataka, he swatted another long ball. So this game was won completely by rookies offensively from the Red Sox. Back-to-back games with the homer from Masataka. Boston, they've won 3 in a row, so they're now 4.5 games back of the struggling Rangers, and the Blue Jays, they're just a half game back of the Rangers. All right, here we go. The Guardians and the Twins faced off in their most important series of the year, and if Cleveland doesn't win 2 or 3, the season's over. Lucas Giolito is making Cleveland debut. That's it. Goodbye. Okay, all jokes aside, I don't know if Lucas Giolito is a double agent for the Twins or something, because he was terrible. All credit in the world to Minnesota because they tore this dude apart. Jorge Polanco, he's always destroyed Cleveland, so that's not surprising. He had that home run. He took a walk with the bases loaded, so the bases are still loaded for Royce Lewis, and I mean, that's not surprising either because Royce, he destroys Cleveland as well. He has 3 grand slams over the last, 8 games or something crazy like that. His favorite player growing up was Derek Jeter. Jeter had 1 career grand slam, and in like 1 week, Royce has tripled that. The most grand slams ever by a rookie in a single season is 4, so keep that in mind. Correa, he pummeled a long home run. Lucas Giolito went 3 innings and allowed 9 runs, and I bring that up because Cleveland's backup catcher David Fry had a better stat line. Fry, he tossed 4 innings. He did allow 7 runs, but that's because he was throwing it down the middle pretty much every single pitch. Royce, he had a 6 RBI night, and then my friend Joey Gallo, he must have pictured a childhood bully's face on that baseball. 460 feet to the second deck. You almost never see that in right field in Cleveland. Kyle Farmer, 425 feet on that 3-run pimp job, and then 1 more for fun. Matt Wallner, a 2-run blast. The last time a team scored 20 runs versus Cleveland, the Minnesota Twins, like 2 or 3 decades ago. Yeah, I don't know about the season as a Guardians fan. I mean, if we don't win the next game, it's over. I haven't done an immaculate grid in a few days, so we're going to do that in a second, but real quick, we're going to talk about the most recent update on the standings. Like we mentioned, the Rangers are 1 game back of the Astros and the Mariners because the Astros won and the Mariners lost, but because the Rangers lost, they're still 1 game back. And then in the NL Central, the Cubs are just 2.5 games back of the Brewers for first place. Like we mentioned just a few seconds ago, the Rangers are only a half game ahead of the Jays for that final wildcard spot, and the Red Sox, they've won 3 in a row, so they're 4.5 games back. And then in the NL, we have the Diamondbacks, the Reds, the Marlins, and the Giants, all basically within 1 game of each other. And then the Padres, they're 6.5 games back after losing another one. By the way, the Giants, they've lost 4 in a row. All right, today's immaculate good, we have the Phillies and the A's. I don't think a lot of people remember that Christian Pache played a few games for the A's. What was this? 17%. Okay, that's a lot. The Phillies and the Red Sox, I played with his stepson on my Little League team, Shane Victorino, one of my favorite nicknames in baseball history, the Flying Hawaiian, 12%. Okay, not good. The Phillies and the Reds. Phillies and the Reds. No one is coming to my mind right now. Maybe Jay Bruce. Actually, didn't Jay Bruce play for the Phillies? I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, look at me, 5%. All right, so usually when it comes to stat categories, the rarity scores aren't that great. So, I mean, Hall of Famer for the A's, I'm going to go with someone that is going to be the highest pick. 33% for Ricky Henderson. A Hall of Famer for the Red Sox, I could go Ted Williams. Has David Ortiz been inducted? I can't remember if David Ortiz, no, I'm pretty sure that David Ortiz was inducted, so I'm going to go him. 8%, okay, that was good. A Hall of Famer for the Reds, I'm going to go Frank Robinson. Okay, so now we just have the 40 home run club for the A's, the Red Sox, and the Reds. I think Jay Bruce had 40, but I can't use them twice. All right, I'm not going to even care about my rarity score. A Reds 40 home run season, Adam Dunn, or maybe did Griffey do it? I'm going to go Adam Dunn, 39%. That was awful. A 40 home run season for the Red Sox, I'm going to go Ted. Did Ted Williams ever hit 40? I'm pretty sure he did. Yep, 7%. Okay, that was actually lower than I expected. And then a 40 home run season for the A's. Obviously, there's Mark McGwire. I know Miguel Tejada won MVP for the Moneyball A's, but they conveniently left that out because they wanted to prove a point with Moneyball. Did he hit 40? Who was some other? Chris Carter. I don't think he played enough games. Or Donaldson. I don't think those guys stayed long enough. I'm going to go ahead and pull this name out. Jimmy Fox. I play a lot of MLB The Show. His card is always raked for me. And I don't know if he had 40 home runs for the Red Sox or the A's. I think he did it for the A's. I'm going to go ahead and risk it. He did. There we go. But that does it for today's recap. I'm feeling a little bit better today, so thank you guys all so much for the love and support in yesterday's recap. You guys are so awesome to me, and I'll catch you in the next one.